A quick reminder before we get started, please use the chat feature to ask any questions throughout the presentation, and we will be sure to address them. A copy of the presentation and a link to the recording will be sent to all registrants. If you're not registered and would like a copy, please send me an email and I will include you on the distribution. I will drop my email address in the chat. We do have to present our disclaimer that the material is in reference to Infor V11. The presentation is for informational purposes only. We just want to provide you with considerations as you make the best decisions for your organization. Reliance on this information presented without consultation is at your own risk. We highly recommend that you contact Nordic to discuss how solutions can be tailored specifically to your needs. And now I will turn it over to our presenter, Stephen Howell.
All right, thank you, Laura. Hopefully everyone's having a great Friday so far. My name is Stephen Howell. I'm a FSM consultant at Nordic. I've been with Nordic since 2021. And just a little background on myself, I have over 10 years of corporate accounting experience. So today's topic is journal templates. So this is the agenda we're going to go over. So the first thing we're going to go over, what is a journal template? Then I'm going to show you how to manually create a journal template. And then, there's different options of getting your transactions done. So we're going to show you speed transactions. And then I'm going to show you how to create a journal template from a journal entry. And then we're going to look at the journal template totals and then actually processing the journal template and get the finishing journal entry created from the template that we made. So this is an overview of what a journal template is. So a journal template is composed of a control record and multiple transaction records. Like journal entries, the journal template control record contains data that is shared by all the template transaction lines. So first, we're going to do creating a journal template manually. So I'm going to show you the slides of how you're going to actually go through the process, and then I'm going to show you screenshots afterwards. So you can get to this string right here from either the controller or staff account. There's many other roles you can choose to get here, but you're going to want to go to processing, journal template. You're going to click create. You're going to want to specify this information here. You want to give the journal template a name, a description. You're going to want to pick your ledger. The allow multiple per day, I'll show you on the screen, is going to tell it you can use this template more than one time a day. So if you want to just have it for, you have a bunch of different prepaid events, you can set it to allow multiple per day. So you could book a bunch of them separately or just have one template to book them all at one time. So it's whatever you want to do. Then you need to pick your entity. You can pick your currency, and then the current date for posting date checkbox will just use today's date that you're actually processing the template for the posting date. And then a journal type is either going to be, is it a normal journal entry or are you going to want to enter entity entry? And then auto reverse will automatically reverse your entry in the following period. And then you would click save. So this is what making the journal template will look like. So here's the journal template name. Here's the description I gave it. This event is telling me it's a journal template. This is the ledger. So we have the core ledger. Here is the accounting entity, the currency, the journal type right here. So if you were to click this down box, it would filter between normal or enter entity. Here's that allow multiple per day checkbox I mentioned. And then there's the current date for posting. Active means it's an active template. And then if you check this auto reverse, it would reverse your template lines. We're going to show you in the next slide. It would reverse them in the following period. So these are the steps to create a manual transactions, to put the transactions in your manual journal template. So we're going to get there the same way. So it's going to be select processing, journal template. You're going to open your journal template that we just created, because the previous screen, that was just creating the template, like the cover page for that. We're going to go to the template lines tab, click create, and then we're going to have to specify some information in there. And then we click save. So this right here is what I was just mentioning. So we can see we're in the same journal template. You can see the description, the journal template right here. We were in the main tab in the previous screen. This time we're now in the template lines. And this is where we're going to actually put in the accounting entry. So this is the finance structure, right? So you need to have your core, that's the entity. And in this setup, we have an accounting unit and an account. So depending on your setup in FSM, this would be different, but this is the finance structure. This is your accounting string that you have to put in there, right? So you have to have a debit and a credit, and you can have as many of these as you like. But for this example, I just have a 2-line entry. But you would come here, you would click the create, and then that will bring up this screen here where I have a screenshot of it, and this is where you actually fill it out. And there's your currency, your amount. You can click your auto reverse there, and there's the descriptions right here. So then the next step, I'm going to show you how to do a speed transaction. So the difference between the speed transaction and the manual is if you have a lot more lines to put in, this is a little bit faster, and I'll show you on the next screenshot. So we're going to get there the same way. Select processing. You're going to go to journal, journal template. You open the journal template you want to go into, and then you're going to click the speed transaction entry tab and then click create. And once again, we're going to have to fill out some information in there for the accounting lines for the journal entry. Transaction, sorry. So this is what it looks like. So if you recognize the screen again, we're in the same journal template, the description, we were in main template lines, and now we're in speed transaction entry. So the only difference from this tab and the template lines is instead of creating a whole nother page, you can just create the the finance stream and all the amounts in this one screen. So you can just keep clicking plus, it's going to add another line. So instead of having to go to a whole nother screen, you would just fill it out all right here. So that's what they call speed. It's just a little bit quicker. It's one step less. You don't have to keep clicking plus and then go into another screen and then filling out your information and hitting save. So it just all happens right here. All right, and now I'm going to show you how to create a journal template from a journal entry that's already in your system. So this time we're going to go into processing still, journal, but instead of journal templates, we're just going to go to journals. So, and you can open any journal entry. It can be an unposted entry, a posted entry, a released entry, or unreleased. And what you're going to do is you're going to click the all actions button in the top right, and I'll show you in the next screen. And then you're going to select the make journal template. And then we're going to specify some information for the next pop-up. And then you would click OK. So like I explained in that previous screen, so this is the journal entry I picked out of our demo environment. And this is the all actions button up here, the 3 dots. You would click this, you click make journal template, and then this is the pop-up you would get right here. So like we said in the other one, so if you want it to be a journal template, you can do more than one a day. You would select allow multiple per day. Whoops, sorry. You would select allow multiple per day checkbox. If you want to use the current date, you would select that. If you want to auto reverse, you would select that here. And then retain transaction amounts would mean is you want to keep the transactions from the journal entry you're copying. So if this was had 10 transactions in there and you wanted to keep all of those, you would just select this here and it will save all the information from this journal entry and put it into the template for you. And then if you are using units, it will also do the same for units. And that's going to depend on your setup, if you guys are using units or not. So that's how you would create a journal template from a journal entry. Next, we're going to just go over the next little slide in there, which is going to be the template totals. This is in the same part as a journal template. You probably would have noticed that there was one tab we didn't go through, but it's going to be under processing, journal templates. Open a journal template you want to look at, and then you're going to select the totals tab. And all this is doing is showing you that, your totals tie out. So it's going to, if you remember in the template lines we created for this, there's only 2 lines. So it's showing that the total debits are 1,000 and the total credits are 1,000. So I mean, no matter how many lines you had, it would total here. So then you would know if your entry was out of balance or not. And that's just like a quick check right here. But it's also in the same template we made earlier. It's all right here. So now we're going to actually go through processing the journal template. So how do we get the template to actually produce a journal entry for us? So these are the steps right here. So you're going to want to go to select processing. And the journal template processing is right underneath journal templates. So you want to select your journal template. And then you're going to click create working lines. So when you open the processing of the journal template, there's going to be no transactions in there. You need to click create working lines and it'll create the transactions in the template for you when you go to process it. And if you want to create the working lines again, if you want to go back and in the template, you forgot to change something or the numbers are wrong, you can just delete the working lines and create it and then recreate the working lines again. So then once you click save, it'll add the transactions in there. And then you would click create journal from template. And then you just need to specify some information. And I'll show you all in the next couple slides here. So here is the journal template that I selected. It's the one we made. There it is right here. So it gives you the options that I've checked. So there's a core ledger saying it's a journal template. It's the currency I selected. It's a normal journal type. Here's my accounting entity. It is active. I want to use the current date for posting, and I do not want it to auto reverse. And if you see right here, this is the line, the box we're going to click. So once I click this, you'll now see that there's working lines. Do you see the difference is right now there's only main and totals, but then once you click create working lines, it's going to now produce the lines that I had from the template. If you remember, it's the same 2-line entry. So creating that, create working lines creates this for you. And then the next step is you're going to click right here. This option appears after you create the working line. So now you would click create journal from template, which would bring this box up. And then you're just going to give the description of your journal entry. And if you, depending on your setup, unique journal ID may be required, but this is optional right here. So this is what comes up after you click create journal from template. And this is a screenshot showing you that they're now in the unreleased journals is the entry that was created from the journal template. Any questions? I know that was a pretty quick one, but this is it's kind of just a set up to if you don't want to use recurring entries or really whatever you want it to be used for. There's a lot of uses for this journal templates, but to save on maybe fat figuring some accounts, or especially when you have set accounts that you use all the time, you can just have entries ready to go. And that's really it on the journal templates. I don't know if any questions came in or.
No, I didn't have any questions come in the chat. We'll give it a second. Feel free to come off mute too if you have any questions. Okay. Do you want to go to the next slide, please? If you find you have any questions on this topic or any info-related topics down the road, please keep our Coffee with Consultants offering in mind. It will give you 30 minutes of complimentary time with one of our consultants to get questions answered or solve a pain point. You can go to our website and sign up, and someone will be in touch, or send me an email, and I would be happy to set that up for you. Next slide. Our February series continues next Friday, the 23rd, with Talent Acquisitions Advanced Interview. Please, again, send me an email or register to join us. Next slide, please. After our February series concludes, we will have our next quarterly session in May 2024. Please look for information towards the end of April. And finally, we do have a team that will be in St. Paul for Infor Connect. So if you do plan on attending, please stop by and say hello. And that concludes today's Informative Friday. Thank you everyone for joining us, and we hope to see you next week.
Thank you. Have a great day. Thank you.